On today's show, the Houston Rockets easily blow out the Denver Nuggets with no Nikola Jokic in their lineup. Jalen Green's star-level play continues as he scores 34 points in just 3 quarters. The Rockets getting a big boost off of their bench. Alperen Şengün and Amen Thompson with some struggles in this game. It's all coming up right here at Locked On Rockets.
This is Mission Control, Houston.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up and welcome to another edition of Locked On Rockets, your daily podcast home for everything Houston Rockets basketball. As always, I'm your host, Jackson Gatlin, native Houstonian and credentialed media member. I'm also the host of Locked On NBA Thursdays. Be sure to follow along wherever you listen to your podcasts or on YouTube. Just search Locked On Rockets, where the best way you can help us grow our show is to listen every single day on a podcast platform of your choosing. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Drop us a comment while you're there. Tell us your favorite moment from this Rockets blowout against the Nuggets, or just do a drive-by. Helps us out a ton. Say go Rockets, all that good stuff. Now, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And as always, thanks so much for making Locked On Rockets part of your day every single day, whether it's on your way to work, on your lunch break, in the gym. Thank you so much for being an everydayer. Joining us now is your weekly co-host, NBA draft enthusiast, and diehard Houston Rockets fan, Madison Moore. You can track down on Twitter at MadmanLeaks. Here's the Houston Rockets blowing out the Denver Nuggets 128-108. They put an end, Madison, to the Nuggets 8-0 record on the second night of a back-to-back. This is the same Nuggets team that embarrassed the Clippers exactly a week ago to the day with no Nikola Jokic in the lineup on the second night of a back-to-back. And it kind of felt like, hey, man, no Jokic again for the Nuggets. Still no Aaron Gordon for them. Like, maybe this could be one of those trap games, recipe for disaster kind of games, whatever. Rockets came out, though. They absolutely took care of business, and a big part of them taking care of business was Jalen Green hanging another 30-piece. The Rockets improved now to 8-0 when Jalen Green scores 30-plus this season, 34 points in 3 quarters of play. Didn't have to play a single second in the fourth quarter, and that's one benefit to this one, Madison. This is the first night of a back-to-back for the Rockets, and they were able to take care of business against the Nuggets before having to go on and deal with the Sacramento Kings, and that's always nice to get your starters some much-needed rest.
Yeah, man, definitely a sleeper game, especially when you hear Jokic is out of the lineup. You can kind of relax a little bit.
And he was Denver. A weird last-minute scratch, too, like some right elbow, something or, inflammation or something, so...
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, I was definitely surprised. I didn't check the injury report of the lineup, so when it came on, he wasn't in the lineup. I was like, whoa, Jokic isn't playing. I really hope these guys take this game seriously because the Rockets have become a really good team now, and we're starting to move into territories where we had a young team who is very good. They can get lax when a guy like Jokic isn't on the floor, but also I think it speaks to how good the team is right now that they can come into this game and dominate in the fashion that they did, especially in the beginning of the back-to-back. But interesting, I actually wanted Jokic to play because I want to see how we need more tests. I feel like, you know what I mean, to see how real this is. But the Rockets handled business. They played who was in front of them, and they dominated them wire to wire. It wasn't always pretty, right? But the Rockets still was a class above this team, as they should have been.
There were definitely some ugly moments in this game. We're going to talk about kind of the rough start for Alperen Şengün, who did find his way back to his usual self in the third quarter. We're also going to talk about Amen Thompson looking a little herky-jerky early in this game. But where we got to start with on this one is Jalen Green. Again, led with him, another really masterclass performance from Jalen. He is racking up these insanely efficient games, high-scoring games, low shot volume, 34 points on only 16 shots, 10 of 16 from the floor, 6 of 10 from downtown, 8 of 8 at the free throw line. He had 1 rebound, 5 assists, had a block shot in there, and only 1 turnover in 30 minutes of run. Madison, when Jalen's able to be efficient like this, yes, the 3-ball was falling for him in this game. He had some ridiculous makes from downtown, but it doesn't feel like he's exclusively relying on the three ball as of late, and that's evidenced by his ability to get to the free throw line and generate these free throws. 11 of 11 last game, 8 of 8 this game. When Jalen gets to the free throw line, it unlocks so much for him. Good things happen when he's getting to the charity stripe.
Yeah, man, I think it's a key component of this game. And I think as Jalen begins to stack these games, these impressive scoring games, the refs will also start to respect his game more. And I felt like he got some respect. He got some calls he typically doesn't get. He for sure was fouled, right? And I think Jalen has started to enter a different rhythm in his game right now. You can see him no longer overthinking possessions, really trying to make the right play, and really just playing ball naturally and playing with pace. You can really see all the work that he put in this offseason on his pace really coming together in a real way when he's comfortable. And I like that, like you said, through the free throw line, that really got him going in this game. Like after he got to the line a couple times on his dribble drives, that really got him into rhythm in that second quarter where he exploded and really pushed the lead out to, it was already probably in the double-digit range, but really pushed it out of control, and the Rockets maintained from there. But I like how it started from the inside and moved out. He did hit a couple threes early, but then he missed 2. And then it kind of, you were kind of seeing, well, how do you maintain this level of efficiency? Well, he got to the line. He got out in transition. And that's been a key component of Jalen's game. Hey, shots will go in and out from the 3, but can you get high efficiency shots? Can you get to the line? Can you get out in transition and get a couple layups and dunks? And then he's just become a absolute knockdown free throw shooter. He's shooting that thing like one day he might be a 90% free throw shooter. That is how smooth. The ball doesn't even touch the rim when he shoots free throws. And so it's just like he's starting to, mold himself into a guy who figures out other ways to get his game going. And then when the 3 is going, he has games like this, and he can, take wild shots and get in ones. And it's just really good to see. Really encouraging.
I love the pair of free throws that he knocked down when he was on the fast break. He had the breakaway dunk, and Russ fouled him from behind, and they were jawing the whole time. And it was all in good fun, right? It was good competitive banter back and forth. Russ was jawing with the Rockets coaching staff, the whole bench unit. Jalen was talking to him back and forth, and then Jalen walks for the free throw line. He's still yapping at Russ. Like Russ is way off on the sideline. And I thought to myself, I was like, man, if you don't lock in and knock down these free throws, like this is going to be like, you can't have all that talk leading up to it and then miss one of you got to go 2 for 2 at the line on these. And he did. And so look, and I want to highlight something here that stands out. We've talked a little bit about how Amen Thompson's insertion into the starting lineup, right? The Rockets are playing faster with Amen in the starting lineup, and they absolutely are. But I also want to give a little bit of credit to Fred VanVleet, right? This has been a very intentional shift within the Houston Rockets offensive hierarchy, their structure, their dynamics, to where Fred has taken that backseat role, right? In this game, 16 points, 6 of 13 shooting, 4 of 9 from downtown, playing much more of an ancillary off-ball role to Jalen Green for a majority of the game. But I think a big part of it too is the pace at which the whole team is playing. And there were times previously where when the Fred VanVleet training wheels were fully engaged and Fred was, pounding the air out of the rock and really taking care to be careful every single possession down. Last season, somewhat earlier this season, while Jalen was going through his November slump, what have you, Fred wasn't looking to push pace and transition. That's not his game, right? He'd walk the ball up. He would make sure to get in their half court sets, involve LP, right? Get to the game that they can, because LP is like their half court engine, right? He's the guy where all the actions run through him in the half court. But now there's very clearly, a push from the coaching staff and from Fred to get out and run. You're seeing Fred really push tempo and transition. The moment the Rockets get a stop, if Fred has his hands on the ball, he's pushing. He's looking for those kick ahead passes. He's trying to find Jalen Green or trying to push tempo himself to be able to get Jalen and Amen and the other athletes on the team opportunities in transition. I think that's a really important shift that this team has made.
Yeah, I mean, this is something me and you have been harping on for, since last year about when guys get rebounds, pushing, finding guys, and specifically finding Jalen Green in transition to help him get into rhythm. And it seems like the team has really bought into this in a whole different scale now. And it's not just Fred, it's LP when he gets a rebound. He's looking, where's Jalen? Where's Amen? We need to get it to our guys who get out and run, because they're seeing that the offense flows so much more effectively when these guys are up and down running and getting easy buckets. And now it has become a focus of the team. And since then, Jalen has taken off, and so has the Rockets offense. And I love how they begin to balance this. The team typically starts off in the half court, running it through Sengun, looking for him in the post. Jalen plays an ancillary role when he's off ball, but whenever there's a stop, they're looking for Jalen Green streaking. And then when Alperen comes out the game, then they let Jalen cook, and he's already feeling good because he's had a couple dunks, he's had a couple fast break layups, he's run about 2 pick and rolls, naturally throughout the offense, and he's got a catch and shoot 3 under his belt. You know what I mean? And by then, he's 3 of 6, going into when he's going to have the ball to initiate. And I think that's really helped him get into the rhythm. And I think this team has finally found a balance that works for both of their stars.
Coming up, we got to talk about the impact from the Houston Rockets bench in this one. Every single player playing impactful, meaningful minutes off the pine for the Rockets in this game. We got to talk about the slow start for Alperen Şengün, how he found his way back in this game. Amen Thompson, a little herky-jerky in this one, and some other thoughts from this game, how the Rockets were able to get ahead of the Denver Nuggets despite their hot shooting night. They shot the lights out of the basketball. We're going to get there in just one moment. First, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5, just $5, and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is so easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keeps every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings, whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs. FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Today's episode is also brought to you by Skims. Look, when I found out Skims was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. I've heard so much about their quality from friends and family, so I had to give them a try. And let me tell you, it lives up to the hype. Look, when it comes to underwear, sometimes there's issues, right? Maybe it's fit, comfort, or just finding the right style. And Skims changed all of that. Their men's line offers something for everyone, from boxers to boxer briefs, classic briefs, all designed with the perfect balance of comfort and style. I tried the men's stretch 5-inch boxer brief, and I'm hooked. They're perfect for my active lifestyle. They move with me, they never lose their shape, and they stay in place all day long, whether I'm working out or just running errands. They're the most comfortable and reliable underwear I've ever owned. Plus, the lightweight material feels amazing, almost like you're wearing nothing at all. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com/LockedOnNBA and Skims stores. Let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. And continuing on here at Locked On Rockets, your daily podcast home for everything Houston Rockets basketball. Let's take a look at some of the stats from this game, Madison, because it looks like a blowout, but on paper, the Nuggets actually had a pretty solid game. They shot 53.3% from the floor, 48.3% from downtown. They were shooting the lights out of the basketball. Now you compare that to the Rockets, who did have a solid shooting night themselves. They've really kind of found their three-point shooting stroke as of late. 44.7% from downtown, 17 of 38 there, 52.1% overall shooting in this game. One of the difference makers, though, was the points off of turnovers. The Rockets generated so many fast break points and so many points off of turnovers in this game. The Nuggets turned the ball over 20 times to the tune of 34 Rockets points in this game. The Rockets had 25 fast break points to just 7 by the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a team that loves to get out and run and push tempo in transition, and they did not take care of the basketball. They turned it over so many different times. And you look at even just the discrepancy of total shot volume. The Nuggets only shot the ball 75 times in this game. The Rockets had almost 20 more shot attempts than they did, 94 attempts to just 75. And that was because of the Rockets. Look, I'll give a lot of credit to the Rockets defense. You know, they swarm, they force teams to turn the ball over. They're a great defensive team. But some of them were just bad turnovers by the Nuggets, like unforced errors, like sending passes way out of bounds, like, you know, trying to these kick-ahead passes and just throwing them a little too far or a little out of reach. And it was just an ugly, disastrous game from Denver.
It's sloppy. I think I heard the call say that they're the number one fast breaking team in transition team in the NBA, and it's just like, and then Jokic is not on the court, so they're going to get out and run, and that's going to be their primary mode of offense, and they just really whipped on a lot of it. I mean, the Rockets got back a lot of unforced turnovers, and I really felt like the Rockets defense was not as good as it usually is, and it goes to show with all the points they scored, but they just didn't have enough possessions because they turned the ball over so many times. And when you looked up, they barely broke 100, right? And so it's for a team to shoot that well and only barely break 100, there had to be something. They weren't getting shots up because they were turning the ball over, and it really affected their offense in a negative way while also fueling our offense and why this game was over in the second quarter.
And a big part of, obviously, Jalen Green played a huge role in this game with his 34 and fantastic efficiency, really helping to blow this thing wide open. But the other really big, impactful, part of this game was just the sheer impact of the guys coming off the bench for the Rockets. At one point, the Rockets bench was perfect shooting the ball from the floor. I forget what it was. Like Cam had hit a couple shots. Uncle Jeff had gone like 2 of 2 or 3 of 3. Yeah. Steven Adams hit his only shot. Jayshawn Tate was perfect from the floor. All 4 of those guys, right? This game really, and there have been a lot of games like this that has really showcased the Houston Rockets' depth, right? The fact that they can go deep into their bench, and we're still not even talking about the fact that they have Aaron Holiday buried further in their rotation, that they have Jock Landale buried as their third big in the big depth chart, and those are 2 serviceable NBA quality level players that could be playing like legitimate rotation minutes for another team out there if they weren't so buried on the Rockets' depth chart, and not even to count Reed Shepherd, right? Who, fresh off of his little G League stint, right? So Rockets have so much depth, and it was so apparent in this game. And I really loved what we saw from Cam Whitmore in this one too. Just very patient, knocking down shots, a very quick, at one point he had 10 points in 10 minutes of run. Like Mr. Per 36 doing what he does. He finished the night 16 points on 7 of 11 shooting, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, only 1 turnover. And what really stands out to me, Madison, is the 9 rebounds, right? For Cam, it's always going to be, what can you do besides score the basketball on the floor, right? Are you making those extra passes? Are you making the right reads? Are you making smart decisions with the basketball? Are you D'ing up, right? Are you paying attention on the defensive side of the floor? And are you rebounding? Cam is a man baby, right? That's what the guys called him when he first came into the league. When you look at how he's built, he's already got his grown man body right now. And when he uses that body to D up, to get rebounds, to box out, you love seeing that from him. That's a great kind of, growth moment for him, is just how can he impact the game aside from scoring? Because we know he can do that in his sleep.
Yeah, man. Cam, once again, another excellent game, Cam, playing a role and playing it to a T. I mean, I really worry, and we worry about this Rockets offense when Alperen Şengün and Jalen Green are off the floor, and Cam comes in and picks up right where they left off. He may not always be able to initiate at the same level, but he's playing defense at a higher level. He's getting out in transition, and he's just as effective in the open floor as Jalen Green and Amen Thompson in transition. And then when the shot is going, when Cam is a knockdown three-point shooter, that opens up a whole nother element and really opens up the spacing for the team. I feel like these last couple games, the spacing has been much better for the Rockets. The reads from the stars have also been better, which helps the spacing as well. And guys have been effective from the three-point land, and I think it really starts with Cam. When Cam Whitmore is on the floor, he is a major threat from the three-point line, and he made them and knocked them down again tonight. And I just love that he's in rotation, playing defense. You can tell he's thinking, trying to make the right play, even if the right play is a shot or a pass. And Cam is being rewarded with consistent minutes, and I expect him to build on that. And now we're starting to see Cam build on that great second half of the year that he had last year. And he's going to be so important for this Rockets playoff run, because this team needs players who can generate offense. And now we have a microwave scoring guy who can literally score a point per minute in any given game.
And shout out to all the body language experts, right? We had to talk about it on the show last week because everybody's worried about, Cam's body language. He walked off the court this night. He's been cheering and hooting and hollering and getting up for his teammates and clapping and waving the towel on the sidelines and everything these last few games. Look, Cam strikes me as a very kind of like introverted guy, right? He's quiet, soft-spoken, but then when you do talk to him, right, he lights up. He's got a great, he'll smile, he'll laugh if you ask him a funny question or whatever in a media scrum. Like, I've never for even half a second bought into any level of like the, oh, Cam has a bad attitude or he's grumpy or none of that stuff, right? Everything that I've heard about him from coaches and personnel who are around the team behind the scenes, Cam has been nothing but, a great student of the game, accepting of his role. And this is the reward, right? And, he got the demotion to the G League, but now he's a part of the rotation. He's playing impactful, meaningful minutes. And when the Rockets are fully healthy, right, they're going to have a great problem on their hands. Who do they give minutes to, right? That's always a fantastic problem to have. I cannot believe we missed this when we were talking about Jalen Green in the first segment, though, Madison. That poster on Dario Saric, oh my God. It feels like Jalen has so many.
After the yapping. It was that was another thing. It was after the yap. You brought up the Russ and Jalen yap contest, and it kind of seemed like Russ kind of got the best of Jalen in the yapping because he had the coaches laughing and stuff. And Jalen was like, "Nah, I still got beef with what's going on over here." And so he went and got his last laugh with that poster. And I just love when Jalen is aggressive at trying to finish with dunks. Last game in Memphis, he tried to finish 2 on Clark and Edey, and although he didn't make it, he got to the line. Those athletic plays put the refs in tough situations. Sometimes you just got to finish it on a guy. And the better a shot blocker a player is, the more often you should try and finish on them. So those Rudy Gobert late blocks, Jalen, dunk on him or at least try. It's going to be a lot harder to block that dunk than it is to block a layup, and I'm glad that Jalen is starting to do that more often.
I wanted to bring that up because Cam also got postered in this game, right? So Jalen had the dunk on Dario Saric. Cam got postered by Christian Brown, but then Cam got his get back. It wasn't a poster, but he got the steal and then got out in transition and had the little reverse windmill, very casual, and then went over and did the no face, whatever. Just, oh man, it was clean, and I'm glad Cam got a little bit of revenge after that. And look, credit to Cam, right? You tried to close out on a slashing wing, and shoot, at that point, Christian Brown played almost a perfect game. Give a lot of credit to him. He was really good. 22 points, 10 of 11 shooting, 2 of 3 from downtown. It felt like for a little while there that he actually couldn't miss. He literally only missed his last shot of the game, which I think was another 3, if I'm not mistaken. So almost a perfect night for him. But the Rockets did a good job defensively. It had to be the Jamal Murray show. They made life difficult for Jamal Murray, and they forced. They helped a lot off of Russell Westbrook. They helped off DeAndre Jordan at various points. They basically tried to say, anybody else is going to have to beat us besides Jamal Murray. And Murray still put up, 22 on 8 of 14, but he wasn't going to be able to do all the heavy lifting by himself in this game. And that's kind of the recipe for the Nuggets, with no Jokic. They just didn't have enough firepower to keep up with the Rockets in this one based on how well the rest of the team was also defending all the other guys on the floor. Coming up, we still got to talk about Alperen Şengün, his bounce back in this game after a really rough start. The finishing around the rim continues to be absolutely ridiculous. Got to talk about Amen Thompson and final thoughts from this one. We're going to get there in just one moment. First, today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%, plus you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. And final segment here at Locked On Rockets, your daily podcast, home for everything Houston Rockets basketball. All right, Madison. I'm kind of sick and tired about talking about Alperen Şengün not being able to hit shots around the basket because this game was a doozy. There were so many, it'll happen, the touch around the rim. And look, we've we've hashed it out, right? I think we know the reason behind it. The reason behind it is clear as day. The reason is because he added strength, he added muscle in the offseason, right? He had the lower body injury last season, messed up his leg. Throughout that rehab process, I'm sure he did a lot of work on his upper body, his core strength, his arms, and it feels like that has messed with his touch probably this season, right? A guy who's been accustomed to being, I guess, built a certain way to for lack of better terminology for most of his career, and then you add all this upper body strength. It's helped him. It's helped him rebounding the ball. It's helped him on defense. It's even helped him offensively at times power through other bigger, stronger guys. Even in this game, we saw him like backing down DeAndre Jordan with ease. Like DeAndre Jordan is not a small guy to back down in the post. But the fact that it's messed with his touch so much, it's getting to ridiculous levels of like the shots that he's missing in and around the rim. I'm going crazy with it, Madison.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of, for me, I'm a perfectionist in a way when I'm watching the Rockets play, which easy for me to say. I'm not shooting the ball, but those layups, like when he's missing those bunnies, and just because you know how good Alp is and how much of that should be a strength of his game, and his inability to consistently make those layups and those bunnies that we've seen him make so much in the past, it's really been a frustrating watch for us. But Alp has to get in the gym. I think also a bit of it is in the beginning of games, getting in rhythm, getting limber, and being more confident when he takes these shots. I think sometimes I feel like he's not as confident, or he's a little too worried about other guys. There was a bunny he missed where he should have just dunked it. I remember when Alp used to do 2 pump fakes and 3 guys fly by, and now I'm dunking on you. You know what I mean? And he did that tonight and then left one short, and Cam had to come clean it up and dunk it for him and show him how it's done. So, I like Alp to stay aggressive, to be more intentional about finishing strong, and be confident to know that these guys can't hold you. Like they're not, if they get one block, that's just one block, dog. They're not going to do that often. Be ready to make those shots. Be confident in yourself. You're the best player on the team. You've been the best player on the team. Use that confidence. And if it's just that core strength, you're kind of messed with it, man, just getting, you know how to work that out, man. Get in the gym and shoot a million jimmies right there, until you get your wrist work. But I love how he responded in the third quarter. I thought the confidence was there. He was hitting that fadeaway jump shot in the lane with plenty of touch. It bounced around and go in, and that is what I feel like he's struggling to do early in the quarters. I don't know if it's an early game thing or just a rhythm thing, but we are making an effort to keep Alp involved, and he's doing a good job of making reads out of the short roll. He's doing a good job playing with Jalen Green, and off their two-man game is starting to get back to, the way it was in Silas' era, but also with winning. And I love that he still was so effective at rebounding and making other guys better with a lot of assists. He nearly had a triple-double, and he still got his, man. He still ended up with an excellent game. We just got to cut down some of that finishing stuff, man. Again,
it's one of those where it's like, look, you look at his stat line, right? He had 20 points on 9 of 21 shooting, 9 rebounds, 3 of them on the offensive glass, 8 assists, 2 steals, and only 1 turnover. Flirting with a triple-double, right? This is a really strong game. It's just the criticism and why it's so frustrating is we know that he's capable of more. We know that he's capable of hitting those shots, and we know that if he was just hitting those little bunnies, right? If he had hit 2 or 3 of those bunnies that he missed in this game, right? We're talking about a 26-point performance or a 28-point performance, right? Almost 30-point flirting with a triple-double kind of game, and those are the kind of games that put him more on the national radar, right? Those monster performances are the kind of games that get the national pundits buzzing and talking, and that's the kind of recognition that he's gonna ultimately need to fulfill his all-star campaign, right? Exactly. Şengün, if he doesn't figure out the touch around the rim, he may actually lose out on his all-star appearance. This is a Rockets team that is number 2 in the Western Conference. They're one of the best teams in the NBA. They absolutely should have at least one member of their team representing the Rockets at the All-Star game, and it's probably going to be Alperen Şengün. Now, if Jalen Green keeps up this insane play through the month of January, enough to potentially offset the slump that he went on in November, maybe Jalen Green gets an all-star nod this season. It'd be a very, very slim chance of it happening, but that could be a possibility, especially if Şengün's struggles continue. And that would be a really interesting like role reversal there. But like at this point, just it's like the all-star nod is yours for the taking. You just got to own up to it a little bit and start knocking down some of these easy shots, man. It's unbearable, and it's unbearable because we know that he's capable of doing it. And it's not like he hasn't done it before. It's not like we're asking him to do the impossible. Just hit the bunnies that you've hit throughout your entire career. All right, that's enough harping on Şengün. Look. And the worst part is too, he's his own worst critic, right? He knows that he's what do I have? Do I have my here it is. Here this is what Alp said, one game last season after he was messing around at the end.
Yeah, I did some bullshit.
See, he knows. He knows when he's on that BS, okay? So we don't have to anyways. Let's talk a little bit about Amen Thompson here before we close things out. Amen finished the game 11 points, 4 of 8 shooting, 9 rebounds, 4 steals, couple block shots, couple turnovers, and a couple like I don't know. He looked a little out of control to start this game, and it was like one of those. They were out of control offensively, and then even defensively, man. Yeah. He got beat like 2 or 3 times, and there was a point where Ime literally called a timeout and then was like yelling at Amen. You know that Ime holds Amen to such a high standard defensively that when Amen makes a mistake enough for Ime to call a timeout and then chew him out, like he's doing something wrong. He was playing some unserious basketball to start this game.
Yeah, man. I don't know if it was the altitude that had him a little tired and gassed and out of sorts, but he looked it, man. And it was funny because he was getting up and down the floor on both offense and defense. And he just I think one time he like missed a layup crazily, and then he had to get back and try and stop another guy, and he fouled him. And he was having a really tough go of it. He dribbled the ball off his foot like 2 or 3 times throughout the game. I mean, there was just a lot of out of control going on. And at one point after fouling a guy, he just laid on the floor and just sat there. You could see him breathing hard. And I was like, I wonder if this altitude is beating him up in the beginning. And Jalen kind of mentioned it in his press conference at the end that once guys caught their second wind, that's when they were able to really separate. And we did see Amen kind of rectify a lot of that in the second quarter. He got out, started finishing in transition, got a couple of and ones, and then the defense normalized like we knew it was. But, man, was it ugly in the beginning, dog? I mean, it goes to show that even Amen isn't perfect, man, because he's been perfect since he's entered the starting lineup in his effectiveness, but still had a pretty good game, like a very effective game. But even Amen can make mistakes here and there.
Dude had 6 stocks. Again, like the dude is a stock merchant. That's all he does. He creates turnovers. He gets steals. He has block shots. Oh my God. The chase down block that he had on Peyton Watson. Watson was trying to finish the rim, and then Amen Thompson out of nowhere, just like full blown swats it, just gone. I mean, it feels like he has at least like one ridiculously like highlight reel block per game at this point. And to have him out there, right, it's such a benefit for this team defensively because, again, you put him on the opposing team's best guard, you put DB on the opposing team's best forward now, or even not maybe best forward, like against the Grizzlies, right? DB had to guard Triple J, which is like, that's a tall task for him. He's given up a lot of height, a lot of size, but I think he did a commendable job under the circumstances. And then you can even fill that out with putting Fred VanVleet on the second best guard player for the opposing team. And then that gives Jalen Green the opportunity to rest a little bit more on defense, right? You don't have to task Jalen with guarding one of the best opposing team's players. Now, yes, there will still be plenty of switches. There will still be plenty of opportunities where Jalen's going to have to D up, which he did in this game. And that's I think, maybe something else that's maybe flying a little under the radar here is Jalen's ability to play consistently well on offense might have a little something to do with the fact, and he kind of alluded to this after his post-game interview after the home win against the Grizzlies the other night. But, having Amen out there means he has to do a little bit less defensively. And that's probably, dead legs is a big part of maybe getting your shooting consistency down, knocking down threes, all that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's hard to play both ends of the floor. And if you have to choose one, MH chose it for you. You better play that defensive end. And it helps to have a guy, when guys are so active defensively and taking the best assignments, and you can kind of take a back seat a couple possessions. I think Jalen, like today, kind of was going through the motions, but they didn't need him to be such an effective defensive player. And, when you have a little bit more energy, those shots feel a little bit, better. You're not taking them under strain. And I think it's really helping. It's a recipe for success for the Rockets. Whatever's going on with Jalen, it needs to continue. Whatever, even if he needs to take a possession or two off because Amon's in the starting lineup, this stuff needs to continue because the Rockets are like reaching a different tier of basketball right now. And, you can see it just tonight with this Denver game. I mean, they put these guys away. They're not in the same class. And this is, even though Jokic is on the floor, you just talked about how they beat the Clippers and how good they are on nights of back-to-back. And we were in the Mile High City. So they could have caught us off guard, and they shot the ball, incredibly well tonight. And the Rockets still, Denver never was close in this game. They never really had a chance, even though they made so many shots.
No, it was an impressive win, the kind of win that you hope they have, right? Took care of business, didn't collapse late, starters got rest, they didn't have to get checked back in the fourth quarter as like an emergency, like break the glass, like, oh crap, we might mess around and lose this game. One more quick shout out here at the very tail end. Nate Williams getting some garbage time minutes, put up 9 points, 4-4 shooting in garbage time. Nate can hoop, man. Like it sucks that he's like buried on a 2-way contract for the Rockets because I really do feel like he could get some like actual NBA minutes somewhere, and I'd hate to see the Rockets lose him, but I'd also really like to see him get an opportunity playing for another team. Like the times that I've spoken to him at like Vegas Summer League and stuff, like he's just such a down-to-earth guy, really humble, is all about his work, and I really hope one day that some team takes a look at him, kind of like Jay Huff, right? Jay Huff had a chance with the Rockets. Rockets passed on him, and then he went to Denver, and they passed on him, and now he's playing a great role with the Memphis Grizzlies. So like Nate Williams is one of those players. I really hope that a team takes a chance on him someday, even if it's not the Rockets, even if it means they lose him. I hope that some team, gives him a chance one day. With that, we want to know your thoughts from this Rockets blowout win in the Mile High City against the Nuggets. Tell us your favorite moments in the comments. Give us your thoughts from the game, all that good stuff. Madison, let everybody know where to track you down at.
You can find me on Twitter at MadmanLeaks. Come talk Rockets basketball and NBA draft.
That's going to do it for another edition of Locked On Rockets. As always, thanks so much for checking out the show. Remember, the best way you can help us grow our show is to listen every single day on a podcast platform of your choosing. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Drop us comments while you're there. Just say Go Rockets. It helps us out a ton. Subscribe to the daily Locked On Rockets newsletter. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And we look forward to having you back right here at Locked On Rockets, your daily podcast home for everything Houston Rockets basketball.